Hey guys, just wanted to make a quick video showing how, or explaining how I added a kill switch to my project guitar with one of these Sanwa Arcade Buttons, which will cost you less than $3. Sanwa buttons are really high quality. They're pretty much like, I'd say they're the Gibson or Fender of button makers for arcade joysticks. They come in two sizes mainly, 24 millimeter and 30 millimeter. I have the 24 millimeter on hand as backups for my Neo Geo home system controller buttons. So I have an odd number now because I keep using them for other projects. I built a virtual and twin stick out of two old Nintendo joysticks and an external CD drive shell. And the 30 millimeter buttons are these. Those are the ones that are more typically used on an arcade joystick. Another cool thing is that you can get clear ones, so you can put whatever art you want in there. Like for example, I wanted to, this is actually an old Hori fight stick that I gutted. And put a zero delay encoder in there, and I wanted to match the Neo Geo button color scheme as well as I could because I was planning on using it for Neo Geo games. You see my Shiranui here. So the closest I could get to the Neo Geo buttons, I couldn't quite get that green. Unfortunately, I ended up with more of a fluorescent green on this one. But the point is, these are the 30 millimeter buttons. You can get clear ones. You can also get the silver and the gold ones that you might have seen in some guitar videos. And that is something I wanted to point out, is that there's no need to pay a markup for, getting the buttons to a guitar shop online when you can get them directly from like Focus Attack or any of the places that sell parts for joysticks. So another thing I wanted to point out about this stick is I replaced these buttons, or the original white buttons in the controller, with these. You'll see these often on guitars and on YouTube as Killswitches. They're smaller. I wouldn't necessarily recommend them, but if this is what you want, or if you need that size, that form factor, you can find those on eBay or on Amazon if you search for boat starter buttons. I actually have a truckload of them, so I can show you what one looks like. So it's got, same thing, it's got two connectors, and you can mount it. As a matter of fact, I wanted to mention that if you're afraid of soldering, you could actually hook up a janky kill switch with nothing but a pair of alligator clips and a button. If you attach the two alligator clips to the two lugs on the button and attach the other two to the two lugs on your guitar jack, obviously you'd have to open it up, or you could actually go directly to your guitar cord, unscrew the plug on the guitar cord, and attach to the two wires of the two connectors, and then you could actually do your kill switch directly from there. Like I said, janky, but you could without actually doing any soldering at all, or at least try it out and see what you think of it. Maybe you can mount it on your guitar strap or something like that. Okay, so in a second we're going to jump backwards so Bill from the past can tell you about drilling the hole. But I wanted to talk really quickly about drill bits. I actually ordered a 24 millimeter Forstner bit specifically for this. But then actually after I ordered it, I searched the Amazon reviews for hand drill. And everybody that had mentioned hand drill said not to use it with a hand drill, that it was meant to use with a drill press, and that it'll slide across the surface if you see that tiny point. So I wouldn't recommend using a Forstner bit. I saw it suggested in another Killswitch video, and I think they forgot to mention they probably used a drill press. So you can get a 24mm spade bit, so that's what I'd recommend. So this is what I had on hand, so I'm going to show you how I made that work. Or what I did was a 7/8 spade bit, which isn't quite big enough, but it's close. So you see our button here. So then the hole just needs some widening. So what I did was I taped it up with masking tape, and I put a little bit of dish liquid on the bit and on the masking tape, and you just very, very slowly drill. Actually, you know what I did do? I drilled a small pilot hole exactly where I wanted the button, so that the spike on the end of the spade bit would be in exactly the right place and couldn't have any chance of drifting. So I used this bit for that. So unfortunately I can't see what the size is, but not very big. About the size of a Strat screw. So if I lift this here, what I did was, after I got through the plastic of the pickguard, I stopped there. So I put the tape on it, put the dish liquid on it, drilled through it until I got through here, and then stopped, and then removed the pickguard. Now I did it with the pickguard screwed down. I did that intentionally to make sure that it held it in place, and that the holes would be perfectly lined up. So after I got through the plastic, I unscrewed the pickguard, and then continued to drill the hole for the button. Now the button is pretty long. I bent the legs to make it a little bit shorter, but I pretty much got it where it needs to be. And the way I did that was I basically just put the spade bit in the hole. So, and then do a little bit of that. But that's basically the deal, and then I'll either drill a hole through here or cut a channel, probably cut a channel so that I can just lay the wire in there. Okay, so I have this old set of Black & Decker drill bits. That's where my spade bit came from, but it has sanding drums. So I found one here that is almost the exact same size as the button. So that's what I used to grind out the pickguard. If you look here, it is about ready to, if I pushed it any further, it'd start snapping in there. So that is ready to go. The key thing, if you're going to use a sanding drum like this, when you're doing the hole to widen it, is make sure that when you start it up, it's already deep in the hole. Don't try to stick it in there while it's running, or don't, come so close to the edge that it skitters out and goes across your pickguard and scratches it. So, like this. That's the idea. So for reference, our hole is about a 1/2 inch deep, 3/4, almost 3/4. And if you're from the other side of the pond, that's about 20 millimeters. So I took this drill bit and, as you can see, drilled a pair of holes here. So the next plan is to take my Dremel here and connect the two holes. And the idea is to go from the inside upward rather than trying to start up here and possibly having it go fly one way or the other. So I'm going to connect those two holes and then open it up from here so that I have a channel connecting the pickup cavity and our buttonhole. And also hair tie. If you have long hair, you don't want your hair getting wrapped around anything at a zillion RPMs. Okay, so we got our channel dug in here with the Dremel, and I'd say it's about as deep as the pickup cavity, maybe a tiny bit deeper, but it isn't as deep as the controls go, because it dips down from there and goes even further down. So, but yeah, so I got that all dremeled out. That is ready to go. This is ready to go. And even if you don't have a perfect edge, I mean, that looks pretty good, but if you don't have a perfect edge, the lip of the button is gonna cover that up. So that's a good thing. I decided I'm just going to go ahead and solder wires directly onto it because quick connects are too bulky, I think, for going in that hole. So, but it fits in there fine, so it'll definitely fit in the pickguard just fine. So that's good stuff. Oh my! I painted this myself as just for fun, as a goof. So it's a little bit lumpy. It was good old Krylon. But yeah, this is an old Ovation Applause. So, not exactly super high quality. So the kill switch is going to be wired directly to the output jack, so I figured I would twist the wires, because apparently that's supposed to prevent RF interference, and I know some guitar companies do that. I don't know if it makes a difference or not, but figured I'd show you an old trick. And we've got some twisted wires. Got our button all soldered up, and it looks like it's ready to go. So, yes, I made the wire ridiculously long, but I'm just going to chop it down later. Got plenty of wire. Okay, so there we go. Getting that in there. See those little ridges there? They smush inward and then it locks on the other side. And there it goes. Okay, so we have the two lugs of the switch running down here and connected to the two lugs of the jack. Besides being the easiest way of doing it, and the safest if you're not comfortable with your soldering, it also has the advantage of, basically, since it's connected, what you're doing when you're hitting the kill switch is, rather than interrupting the hot signal, you're actually grounding the signal, shorting the circuit, which means, in layman's terms, it means nothing gets out to your amp. no hum, no static. It just cuts the signal off completely, which is exactly what you want. So everything's put back together. I popped the trim back in and put the springs back on. So it's basically not exactly in tune. Oh, helps if you plug it in, doesn't it? Looks like it works.